Thank you for your interest in mTrax, the powerful music trainer and MP3 player for musicians. Let me show you some of the essentials and help you get started. Download mTrax at www.terrasofta.com. If after watching this video, or in fact at any point you have any further questions or you need any help, please contact us at support@terrasofta.com. Upon opening mTrax for the first time, mTrax will prompt you to point to your music library. Please note that although you will be using mTrax practice lists to section and slow down your songs, mTrax never copies your original music folder or manipulates it. mTrax points to your music folder and uses it, but does not alter the audio part of your music folder. Audio tags, however, such as title, artist, and genre, can be modified by you. Browse and select the folder where you keep your music. This will create an mTrax library. Let's create a practice list. If you're a musician, or in fact anyone who wants to slow down your music and loop through it, this is where you're going to want to be. To create a practice list, hover your cursor in the Practice List area of the List Explorer. Right-click, Add New List. Name your list. Please note that you can add as many practice lists as you wish. Accordingly, you can delete at any time in the same fashion. Right-click, Delete List. Now, to move music into your practice list, there are several ways to go about this. You can left-click and drag into your practice list. You can left-click and right-click, add selected to, and choose your practice list. Or you can do right-click, select all to select all of your music to move to your practice list, and various other common selection techniques. Now let's create sections for the songs in our practice list that we wish to slow down and loop through. To see the songs in your practice list, click on your practice list. You see I've got 2 songs in my practice list. To create the sections, left-click to highlight the song, right-click, and we've got 2 options. I'll show you both of those options. Add default sections. We'll add 3 common sections: the intro, the solo, and the outro. Now for the next song, the other option I'll show you is left-click, right-click, add track section. This adds a single section at a time, and these section names can be changed by you. Now that we've set up our section names, let's fill our sections with music. And the way that we will do this is you will listen to the music, and where you would like your section to begin, you place your cursor over Start Point in the tweaker, and you merely click where you would like the section to begin, and click on End Point where you would like this section to end. So let's do that. Here I will demonstrate the setting of my start point and my end point for my section of choice. I've changed the name of this section to Tricky Solo. If I double-click on the section, the music begins to play. I listen for where I would like to set my start point, and once I hear it, I left-click on Start Point, and my start point is set. Now I listen for my end point, the end of my solo, and click End Point. My section's start point and end point are now set and ready for looping. Now that we've defined our Tricky Solo section, let's slow down the tempo. This also is done by ear by you as you listen to the music. So let's double-click on our Tricky Solo section. The music begins to play. I move to my tweaker, left-click on the tempo scroll bar, and I slow down by ear. Now notice I have a start tempo set to -35. This will be 35% slower than the original start tempo. Once you've set your start point, your end point, your start tempo, and your end tempo for a section, now you just have to think about how many times would I like to loop through this as I practice. And we set that with the arrow keys in the loops column. Let's say I want to set for 10. Now that we know how to set the number of loops, we need to look at our looping options in the Navigator and in the Settings Explorer on the left side of our screen. When looping is set to off, if you choose to play a section or a track, only that section or track will play and then the music will stop. If looping is set to track, only a single section or a single track will loop through and then stop. Or if you set your Navigator looping option to list, then each of your sections or tracks will play sequentially. If you choose random, of course your sections or tracks will play in a random fashion. Now we must also consider the Settings Explorer Practice Loop Mode. If indeed you do wish to loop through and practice all of the items in your list, you would therefore want to make a choice as to whether you want to loop through tracks and sections, tracks only, or sections only. Now that we know how to set start points, end points, tempo, and number of loops, let's have a last look at these figures to make sure that they make sense to you. I've made a couple of changes to my tricky solo values for ease of explanation. Now we currently have a start tempo of -40, which means that when we begin playing this section by double-clicking on it, it will play at a 40% slower tempo. We will be looping through 5 times and our end tempo is 0. Now this means that our second loop will be at 30% slower, our third loop 20% slower, our fourth loop 10% slower tempo, and our final loop will be at original tempo. Now if instead of increasing your tempo throughout successive loop iterations, you would like to stay at the same slow tempo, that's very simple to do. Instead of an end tempo of 0, let me highlight our end tempo in the section and type -40. And now throughout our 5 loop iterations, we will stay at the same 40% slower tempo. I want to make sure that you know how to expand and collapse your views in the Tracks Explorer. If I click on my practice list after having been away from it, my view is collapsed. Now my sections are not appearing. If I click on the plus, my section will appear. There's my tricky solo section that we set up, and there are my default sections that we set up. The main help file of mTrax is a much more extensive guide to mTrax. The more you familiarize yourself with mTrax, the more powerful a music and learning tool you will have. Team TerraSofta would like to thank you for your interest in mTrax, the powerful music trainer that will allow you to master your music at your speed. Remember, no train, no gain. So go ahead now, hop on mTrax.